Good evening, everyone, and welcome Inside the Bubble. I'm Brandon Spratt, joined as always by Matt Harrington. We hit our patented January chill here this week, and Matt, things got a little bit chilly on the ice as well for some of our top teams in boys, especially this week. There were some big upsets.
Yeah, there sure were, Brandon. We'll get into those here in just a couple of minutes with the boys' highlights. But yeah, it's that time of year where you never know who's going to beat who, and we'll find out who's legit, who's not legit. But yeah, this is a fun time of year if you're a high school hockey fan, and we're kind of in the dog days of winter here in late January. But it's been a fun season, and girls' sections just a week away now.
Yeah, the calendar flips to February, and we really start to flip into that playoff mode, starting with the girls. Then we get to the state tournament. Boys sections kind of overlapping in there. It's really the best time of year to be a high school hockey fan. We're about to hit the home stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, some teams will, they may have had a poor regular season, but may find a way to do some things in sections, win a few games, and you can get to the XL Energy Center. So, you know, you throw the regular season out the window, and you just focus on sections and go from there.
All right, we're going to roll the highlights and start with the girls here this week. A Wright County Conference battle between Mountain West Tonka and Holy Family. These teams meet for the second time this season. We pick it up first period. Holy Family shorthanded. Grayson Lipke doesn't care, though. She breaks in shorthanded. That's a beauty of a backhand move, and the senior Lipke finds the back of the net. Shorthanded, Fire take the lead. Here comes a goal for Mountain West Tonka. That one, I think it hit the post, hit Sedona Blair, and bounced into the net. Tough break there for the Fire, but Lizzie Callahan won't care. She ties it for Mountain West Tonka. Check out the face-off win here. Lynn wins it. Sander finds the back of the net. Face-off wins, so important. Holy Family takes the lead with under 10 minutes to play in this game. And then, coming down the stretch, Mountain West Tonka pulls the goaltender. It's turned over, and Katia Sander has her second. The ninth grade forward hits the back of the net. Holy Family takes a 3-1 lead. That's how this one would end. Fire win over Mountain West Tonka for the second time this season. Both of these teams ramping up toward their respective section tournaments. Both teams will be big threats to get to St. Paul.
We go now to a Suburban East battle between the Forest Lake Rangers and the Woodbury Royals. We'll pick this one up in the second, still scoreless. Check out this pass from behind the net, and Lainey Ganetz buries it. The Royals on top here, 1-0. Early stages of the third period, though, and the Rangers not going away as Samantha Poole ties it up at 1. That's how this one would finish, a 1-1 tie, second straight tie for Forest Lake.
A critical game in Section 6AA as Edina travels to Benilde St. Margaret's. These teams have met in section playoffs 3 years in a row. BSM hasn't beaten the Hornets in over 10 years. They would try to change this one on Thursday afternoon, and they get a good look early, but Uma Cornier makes the save. We're winding down in a scoreless first period. Edina goes on the forecheck. Whitney Horton steals the puck, and great hand-eye coordination by the senior Ellie Chapman. Oh, she's fired up there to bat that one in. Hornets take a 1-0 lead. Then on the backside of the intermission, we open it up in the second. Long wrister by Tori Anderson finds the back of the net there. Hornets score either side of the intermission about a minute after the break to take a 2-0 lead. We take you into the second period now. Watch Addie Morris out front. Oh, that's a great tip there. But Uma stays with it and covers that one. And now we take it late second period. Uma fights off the first chance. She's not going to get the second one, though. Lizzie Hamill finds the back of the net. Red Knights were buzzing in that second period. They finally get a goal, and they cut the deficit to 1. We pick it up in the third period now. Hornets get a couple of chances here. Halverson feeds Horton. Great pass to Chapman. Good toe save. It's going to end up back with Ellie Chapman, and Rooney just barely closes the door there to keep her team in it. We're winding down the final few seconds here. Scramble at the net, but BSM can't punch it home. Edina wins. Congrats to Uma Cornier, their senior goaltender. The previous game before this one, she became the state's all-time leading winner in goal with 96 wins.
South Suburban battle between Lakeville South and Apple Valley. Also hockey night in Minnesota. As we pick this one up here in the first period, we're still scoreless between these teams. And the shot there from the point, Nicole McKinney gets the goal. The Cougars go on top 1-0 in this one. Now in the second period, Apple Valley. And check out this breakout. Nice move there And the Eagles will come the other way. A nice pass over that was led by Michaela Moran. She gets the goal, and it's 1-1 between Lakeville South and Apple Valley. Third period now, still 1-1. This one's going to hit a body in front. Mia Dahl with the goal, and Apple Valley takes a 2-1 lead. Final seconds of regulation, the Cougars tie it as Teresa Soltis gets the goal. This game would require extra time here for Hockey Night in Minnesota, as the Cougars tied it up at 2. Check out this play along the boards. It's going to be thrown to the net, and it takes a funky bounce out in front. Molly Henches gets credit for the game winner, and the Apple Valley Eagles with a massive win as they snap the 11-game winning streak of the Lakeville South Cougars, and they win this one 3-2. What a game, and Apple Valley with their 16th win of the season.
We send you out to Doug Woog Arena in South St. Paul for a raucous Friday night crowd between Simley and South St. Paul. These two teams have had some great battles this season. It's the Packers getting on the board. First at home, Kylie Stengel off the rebound. Shot comes in from Inga Olderking, and it would be a 1-0 lead for the Packers. We take it late second period. This one's going to look similar for Simley. Just a rebound, get the puck to the net, and Michaelan McGowan with the finish. Simley ties it at 1 as we head into the third period. It's Simley on the power play. They're going to work the puck here to the point. Nice control there with the skate, and it just gets through. Tipped in by Taylor Ralston on the power play, and Simley leads 2-1 with about 8 minutes to play. This is the following faceoff, by the way, and we're just going to let this one roll. It's going to be worked into the South St. Paul end. Turnover here. It comes for the shot. Got tipped on the way through, and Val Duval with the goal. Simley 2 goals in 12 seconds to take the lead over their rivals. They sweep the season series against South St. Paul. Will almost certainly get the section top seed. I think these teams just might meet again, though. Empty Netter gives a 4-1 win for the Spartans.
Late conference battle between Wayzata and Eden Prairie. Both teams not having the season that they would like, but this proved to be an entertaining game, as this one's going to just trickle into the back of the net. Genevieve Streed with her first varsity goal. Congratulations to her. Eden Prairie takes a 1-0 lead. Now Wayzata on the power play here in the second, looking for the equalizer, and they get it to sneak through as Sam Matthew with the goal. That makes it a 1-1 game. Wayzata trying to take the lead here late stages of the second period, and check out this stop. Nicely done with the pad there by Riley Lorton for Eden Prairie. That keeps this game all knotted up at 1 apiece, but it wouldn't stay that way for long as Wayzata coming the other way now. Nice toe drag, moving a tough angle for Jenna Britz. Absolutely beautiful shot there. Wayzata's got the 2-1 lead here in the third. Final minute of play. Eagles trying to tie it with the net empty, and they are going to do just that. As you'll see from the wall, it gets tipped in front by Paige Holt. That ties the game with 37.5 seconds. Now we go. Final seconds of regulation. And watch this. Addie Mitchell steals the puck, lasers it home. EP winners with 3.4 seconds on the clock. A massive win for the Eagles, their 9th of the season. And Brandon, I know you were on the call for this Eden Prairie Wayzata game. You know, like I said, these teams not having the season that they would want, but boy, this must have been a fun game to call.
It really was, and yeah, just absolute heartbreak for Wayzata. I really felt so bad for them. I've called a good amount of their games this year, and you know, not a lot of their games have been this competitive. They were so close to getting a win, and to lose in the final minute has to be tough. But, you know, I really, really enjoyed this game. If you've ever been to the Eden Prairie Community Center, I know you have. Mm-hmm. It's a small building, so it doesn't take a massive crowd in there to get some good noise. And the crowd pop, if you will, after the tying and winning goal was really, really cool. You just kind of feed off that energy. Had the band in the house as well. So a really good win for the Eagles and a really exciting game.
Absolutely, it was. We're going to step aside here on Inside the Bubble. When we come back, we'll have the boys' highlights. Stick with us.
Behind every world-class athlete, there's a team who takes extra care to support them. At Affinity Plus, We take extra care with all your banking goals, from checking accounts to credit cards. Our biggest victory? Helping you win in the ways that matter most. Affinity Plus.
Your college experience begins with your dream. Your time at St. Cloud State will uniquely be your own, but your journey will be guided by our community. Be you. Be bold. Be a Husky.
What if there was a place where everything was hockey?
Oh, he can skate. Here comes Steves in on goal all alone.
In Minnesota, there is.
Scores!
Welcome back to Inside the Bubble. It's now time to transition to the boys' highlights, and we start this week in the South Suburban Conference as Shakopee traveled to Hasse Arena to play Lakeville South. Let's take a look. Pick it up first period, and this is early for the Cougars in transition. It's just going to be a turnover here. Eventually, Tate Pritchard picks up the loose change and finds the back of the net. Not the first time we've mentioned Tate Pritchard on the show this season, and he was starring again tonight. This on the power play for the Cougars. He squeezes that one in the top shelf. 5 minutes in, Cougars on a roll. They lead 2-0. Now it's time for the Ashton Doms show. He gets his first goal, even strength. Notice the clock. We're less than 6 minutes in. Cougars lead by 3. Watch this pass. Oh, it's a beauty. Pritchard can celebrate that. Beautiful pass on a plate for Ashton Doms. 2 goals apiece. Cougars lead by 4. They weren't done yet. Dom squeezes that one in on the power play. He has a hat trick in the first period. Lakeville South leads by 5. But Shakopee would fight back. Cooper Simpson on the power play gets the Sabres on the board. And then they are going to turn it over again in their defensive zone. Xander Billings finds the back of the net. Lakeville South restoring its 5-goal lead. We take it late, score 8-1. Cooper Simpson gets his second power play goal for the Sabres. They lose 8-2. And Tate Pritchard with 5 points. Ashton Doms a hat trick. Great game for the Cougars.
Warroad Roseau, 182nd all-time meeting between these historic rivals, and it's the Warroad Warriors who strike first. Jason Shagabe with the goal, and a huge goal for Warroad. Perhaps the Mr. Hockey frontrunner right now is number 17 in black for the Warroad Warriors. And the Warriors get another one here from Carson Pilgrim, an even strength goal to make it 2-0 as you see a full house at Roseau Memorial Arena here on this Tuesday night. Look at this move toward the front. Dipsy doodle doo from Murray Marvin Cordes as he gets a spectacular goal. The assist there to Ryan Lund. And now Roseau looking to try and get a goal there as a mad scramble in front for Eli Wensloff, who gets the goal. It's 3-1 now as Roseau gets a little bit of life here in the period, but then Jason Shagabe not done yet. Check out this play. Beautiful feed there across. Got an easy finish when that happens, so that makes it a 4-1 lead. Roseau not going away yet, though. Keep an eye on number 25, Tanner George, as he'll get the feed. Nice backhander toward the front, and he gets the finish as well. 4-2 the score at this point. Warroad would add a 5th as they stay undefeated at 17-0 on the year.
Big time battle in the Northeast Metro. Hill Murray taking on Matamidi. We picked this one up first period. Oh, look at number 12, Caden Samper gets all the way to the net and beats Brant through the 5-hole to take a 1-0 lead for the Pioneers. And then in the second period, that's just a great feed there. Brady Ingebrigtsen, he had a big week. He scores there on the power play to make it 2-0 Hill. And then from a tight angle here, snipe there by Seth Klepitz. He puts the Pioneers up 3-0. On the power play here, Matamidi finds the back of the net with Cav Bruner to get them on the board. That would make it 3-1. Later into the third, it's a great tip out front by Charlie Draghi, and Matamidi cuts its deficit to 1. But Hill Murray would step up just about 90 seconds later. On the rush, Jackson Reeves scores even strength. Pioneers lead 4-2. They'd go on to win 4-2. These teams will meet again tomorrow for the second time this season.
Big Lake Conference one here. 4AA Wayzata versus number 5AA Edina. As these two teams, always fun when they meet. And check out this one's going to sneak through on the shot there for Edina. I believe that was Jackson Nevers with the first goal. Recently committed to the University of Minnesota. Great save here by Ingeman, one of the state's leading goalies. He keeps this one at 1-0 in favor of his opponent, the Edina Hornets. But a great save nonetheless. Edina trying to make it 2-0. And look out, this one caught a body out front. And it's Nevers again who got the deflection. Catches Ingeman off guard. It's 2-0 Edina after the first period. Early second now. Hornets still leading 2-0. And what a shot here from Bobby Cowan. That goes into the back of the net. It's 3-0 Edina taking a stranglehold on this game. And Wayzata, though, wouldn't go away as they played into the offensive zone, and Jacob Kavasnica with the goal for the Trojans. That gets them on the board 3-1. Just a handful of seconds later, Edina, though, will get this deflection in front from Mason West. What a player he has turned out to be this year for the Edina Hornets. He gets the goal to make it 4-1. Again, Wayzata not going away, though, as this one's going to deflect. It rolls, and look out. Nice play in front of the net there to bury it by Britton Alstead. That makes it 4-2 in Wayzata. We're looking forward to try and get within 1 here. And Jibber Cool, maybe the best name in high school hockey, gets the goal to make it 4-3 on the power play. Assist going to Reese Wallen and Hawk Huff. Edina, though, would find the empty net here as it's a turnover and sent the length of the ice by Caden Morgan. 5-3. Edina wins this one. A statement win, perhaps, for the Hornets, as Wayzata now winless in 3 straight games.
Chan putting its number 1 ranking and 16-game win streak on the line against BSM on Thursday night. We picked this one up about 90 seconds in, even less actually. Look at the feed by Caleb Koski to Michael Risto, and the Red Knights off to a flying start. They lead it by a goal to 0. Chan now on the power play. They win the opening faceoff. Eulenkamp gets it to the puck quick, but Mason McElroy with a big save. He's been a little banged up this season, but this was a great performance by McElroy on this night. Later in the first period, his opposite goaltender not going to want to see this one again. Cam Hendrickson turns over the puck behind the net. Fed out front by Ryan Baird. Drew Stewart the goal, and BSM leads by 2. Watch the move here by Ben Norris. Splits 2 defenders. Oh, what a move. And he finds the back of the net. Red Knights by 3 in the first period. Look at the player. He was skating with his hands on his head. What did my teammate just do? That was filthy there. And we pick it up now in the second period as that one hit the post. I thought it maybe hit the back of the net. Just kind of a weird ricochet. But anyway, it didn't go in, and it was still 3-0. Watch this move here by BSM. It's Brady Marsh in the second period to replace Hendrickson. He makes an incredible save to keep the score at 3-0. Red Knights now on the power play in the final period. Ben Norris is going to get a second. That one just flutters in through traffic. Red Knights add another insurance tally to lead by 4. Good poke there by Gavin Eulenkamp for Chan. They trail by 4 late. Eulenkamp gets to the net, but McElroy is going to shut that one down to hold the lead at 4-0. However, Chan would break the shutout here eventually late in the game. Caden Lee centers it for Risch, who turns it toward goal. Got deflected. Eulenkamp picks up the loose change. Does at least get the Storm on the board, but it wouldn't matter. Red Knights get a statement win 4-1. Chan's 16-game winning streak snapped.
Chaska and Cretin here, Cretin-Aram Hall and Chaska. Peyton Chase opens the scoring in the Battle of the Purple here at Chaska Community Center. Big goal there as the Hawks trying to pull off the upset here in this one. Raiders heavily out shooting the Hawks at this point, and they finally get a goal. Colin Scanlon ties it for Cretin-Aram Hall. 1-1 here in the second period. Early stages of the third period now. Raiders on the power play. The shot from Attila Lapai, and the rebound is put home there from Max Anderson. Cretin heavily out shooting them. 43rd shot of the game. They finally get their second goal, but Chaska not going away Blake Markwell gets the puck to go into the back of the net, beating the goaltender Nelson, and it's 2-2. Less than 4 minutes later now. Chaska back into the zone. A shot there over the glove of Nelson. Ryan Girelli puts it home, and Chaska goes up 3-2 at this point in the game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how this one would finish. Just Chaska pulls off a massive upset of Cretin-Derham Hall. This is the third time this year the Raiders have lost consecutive games. As you see, 13-6-1 and a 5-13-1 record.
Speaking of upsets, could the Trojans be on upset alert in Buffalo on Saturday? This is a late conference game, of course. Max Varner in goal for Buffalo. He made some huge saves in this game. You see late first period, shots 15-5. Trojans as they just continue their barrage at the net. Varner with another save, and that one just fired over the net. Wayzata had some struggles against some late conference teams to score goals. And now we pick it up early third. Great play. Buffalo gets it to the net. Max Zook the goal. And the Bison take the lead 1-0 in the third. We take you late third period. 43 shots for Wayzata. They've yet to beat Varner. Here comes a 44th. He covers that one. And guess what? Buffalo's going to hang on for the win. Bison announcing their presence in Section 8AA. They could be a threat to St. Paul this year. Trojans lose, and they are winless in their last 4 games. Some scoring issues lately for Wayzata. Matt, we'll see if that's reflected in the rankings here that we're going to go over in just a little bit. But how about Buffalo? And those 2 upsets there, you were on the call for Chaska over Cretin. Buffalo beats Wayzata. Crazy Saturday in high school hockey.
Yeah, it absolutely was. You mentioned this was a statement win for Buffalo, and you see the record there, 9-7-2. Maybe not the strongest record, but they're the benefits of maybe a little bit of a weaker section than Wayzata is in 8AA. Buffalo in 8AA, of course, Wayzata in 6AA. But yeah, you mentioned they absolutely could run the table potentially and get to St. Paul, and that's one of the benefits they have of being in their section. And a win like this can help you a long way down the stretch.
Absolutely. So we saw Wayzata lose a couple of games. Obviously, Cretin loses. They were in our top 11. Maple Grove suffered a loss as well. So there's going to be some shakeups in our Kare 11 top 11. We're going to see those in a little bit, but first we'll have the SCSU player spotlight when we return.
They say good things come to those who wait. But greatness, that's a different beast. It doesn't come when it's called. It won't wander up to those who do nothing. You have to bait it with the sweat you leave on the ice. You gotta push through the pain, smile through every ache, and suffer every shift. You gotta chase it. All in the name of the game you love. Because greatness comes to those who take it.
Behind every world-class athlete, there's a team who takes extra care to support them. At Affinity Plus, we take extra care with all your banking goals, from checking accounts to credit cards. Our biggest victory? Helping you win in the ways that matter most. Affinity Plus.
Welcome Welcome back to Inside the Bubble here on Kare 11 Plus. It's time now to take a look at our St. Cloud State University Player Spotlight. This week we head out to the Pagel Activity Center in Minnetonka to take a look at senior forward for the Skippers, Gavin Garry. Garry has been a huge help in the Skipper success this season, and of course a great person and role model as well in his community. Let's go out to Minnetonka and learn more about Gavin.
Dad first started me out with hockey. He played in high school at Holy Angels when he was younger, and then I had an older brother too that he kind of got into skating when he was younger out on the pond in our backyard, and then we kind of just followed my older brother and just kind of started.
I first saw Gavin when he was a band in AA playing over in Eden Prairie in the regional against Maple Grove. So it was the game to go to state tournament. And Gavin just stood out with his size as a ninth grader at that time. And he's playing with great guys like you just talked about with Hagen Burrows and Javon Moore. So the three of them on the ice versus that Maple Grove team who is going to have a chance to win a state title as well. It really showcased the talent of that age group.
I play on the line with a couple great players, and being able to just kind of move around the ice and control the game, always have the puck on our sticks, has kind of helped me have more success because we always have the puck in the offensive zone and we're just rolling around guys pretty much.
The immediate thing that we saw as a coaching staff last year was just his ability to connect with all the players in the locker room. And that was quite amazing as a sophomore. And that's one of the reasons why we named him as a captain. So this year his role has changed, like he talked about, to being, hey, I got to be up against the number one lines and I got to be ready to go every night. And he's done that. I
am in one club. It's called the St. Jude's Leadership Society Club. We try and raise money for the St. Jude's Research Hospital. On fundraising event, we raised, I think, around $3,000 for St. Jude's this year, so that was good.
From just a personal perspective, again, I can just go back to his character. He can connect with our youth players. Our youth guys just love him. He connects with his teammates. All the parents just think highly of him, and that says a lot about his family that he's grown up in. Yeah, Gavin has really taken off this year, and the college hockey world is starting to notice that. He's going to play Division I college hockey. I have no doubt in my mind of that, and he may only have to play a year of juniors to get to that point.
Locker room's a great locker room. Like, we all love each other. We all want to show up to the rink every day, work hard. We want to be the best team in the state. We all want to win a state championship, and I think that's the aspect that really helps push us is we want to be the best. We come in every day, we're all here together. We love each other, but we're trying to get wins too, so we're on top of things.
Now time to take a look at the boys' top 11s. We'll start in Class A, take a look at these rankings, and, well, what stands out about these folks? There are no changes in the rankings this week, Matt. Why is that?
Well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, the top teams took care of business, but a lot of these teams kind of in the middle of the pack did have a loss this week. Rockridge lost, Hibbing Chisholm. So some of these teams, when you do have that losses, when you have a lot of them, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to flip-flop everybody around. No surprise, Warroad is number one, probably the top team in the state regardless of class. Hermantown as well, 15-2-1. Orono has been playing really well, 16-2. Mahtomedi did lose both their games this week, including to Hermantown yesterday. But again, that East Grand Forks head-to-head meeting, Mahtomedi won that one, of course, 5-3. So that's why they stay at 4 instead of 5. Detroit Lakes at 6. But Rockridge has been having a good season. They have a good one coming up with Hibbing Chisholm here in a couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to those two playing head-to-head.
All right, and now we move to AA, where we shuffled the deck a little bit this week. There are a lot of arrows on there. We take a look at the top. Minnetonka is back as your new number one with Chan losing. Edina, a good week through the Lake Conference, beating Wayzata and Eden Prairie. They're up to 2. The Red Knights, red hot. They're up to 3. And then we have some risers, some fallers, couple teams back in the rankings. Champlain Park in at 10. What are you seeing here, Matt?
Yeah, well, Minnetonka, I think, is the number one team in the state right now. And of course, one of their losses was to Chanhassen. But yeah, Chanhassen, of course, got upset by Benilde, and that's why Benilde moves all the way up to 3. That's a big jump from them from 8 to 3. Edina has been rolling. Hard to believe they started 0-3 and have now worked their way up to number 2. Just an incredible rise here by the Hornets. Maple Grove lost one to Centennial yesterday. Somehow Rogers, they stay the same, the only team that doing so, but Lakeville South and St. Thomas Academy come back in. They've been taking care of business. I mentioned last week the Cadets, all they needed to do was take care of business, and they'd be back in the rankings, and they did. So well-warranted. Cretin-Derham Hall, of course, lost a couple of big games this week. They fall out as a result, but I think this top 11 still going to change a lot here in the next couple of weeks. Time now to take a look at our Kare 11 top 11, our power rankings here, and we'll start on the girls' side this week in girls Class A. And as you see there on your screen, the top 4 remains the same. Warroad, Proctor, Hermantown, Holy Angels, Simley. Orono, they beat, or rather they are the benefit of a South St. Paul loss to Simley. So Orono will go up to 5, South St. Paul falls to 6. Mount West Tonka, Southwest Christian at 7. And then we welcome back the Crookston Pirates after a few weeks, Brandon, not in the rankings, but they've been playing well lately.
Yeah, a couple of results I want to note on here. 2 teams that didn't move, Proctor, Hermantown, and Duluth Marshall, but they played last week. It was a really close game, and the Mirage did not score the game winner until about a couple minutes left. So as we kind of get into our section mode, if you will, in a couple weeks, those teams are in the same section, so definitely keep an eye on them. As you said, Crookston returns to the top 10. They're the beneficiaries of a Laverne loss to the Breck Mustangs, and they jump Mankato East as well. Breck, I just want to have a note on them as well. The record isn't going to stand off. Obviously, they haven't been in the top 11 all year, but they have a really strong goaltender and could definitely pose an upset risk to one of the top teams in their section in the top 11. That would be Holy Angels. That would be Orono. That would be Mound West Tonka. So I'd say keep an eye out for Breck out of Section 5.
Going to be fun sections. We'll go down to girls Class AA now. And as you see, the top 4, actually the top 8, the first 2 columns staying the same here. Minnetonka, Hill Murray, Gentry Academy, Andover. Boy, Edina's been on a roll ever since their upset loss to Blake. They've won 5 in a row. Holy Family taking care of business in the Wright County Conference. Maple Grove did lose a game this week, but they stay at 7 as they beat Centennial Spring Lake Park head-to-head. Stillwater's up to number 9. They've tore through the Suburban East Conference. And Apple Valley is back in the rankings, Brandon, after their big win over Lakeville South.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Stillwater and Apple Valley. That's where I'm going to spend most of the time here. Stillwater went a perfect 16-0 running the Suburban East this year, but they're going to get a very challenging week coming up as they'll play Gentry and then Edina and then Andover. So 3 of the top 5 to finish off their week. They'll be very battle-tested going into section. And then Apple Valley, 17-5-1. They have earned their way back in. Obviously, we saw them beat Lakeville South in our Hockey Night in Minnesota back in the highlight package. And they're playing their best hockey at the right time. They've gone on a nice winning streak here since January 1st. I think only losing 1 game in that span. So it's been impressive for the Eagles. Peaking at the right time is obviously what these teams are all aspiring to do.
The final full week of the regular season here for girls Class A and AA. And we'll take a look now at our top 5 upcoming network games and some big games on the docket this week. We'll start things out on Monday with Grand Rapids Greenway taking on Duluth, followed by Blake and Benilde St. Margaret's. That's an important game in Section 6. South Suburban matchup between Lakeville South Eastview, Holy Angels at Eden Prairie, and then a big one to end the week, Brandon, and the Andover Huskies taking on the Stillwater Ponies.
Yeah, it's going to be a good week of games here. Starting up north on Monday night, I'm excited for that GRG Duluth game. Note the 8 p.m. start time between Blake and Benilde St. Margaret's. That'll come after a Red Knights boys game as well on Tuesday night. And then the Friday night game, Holy Angels at Eden Prairie. I'm looking forward to that as well. We haven't had the Stars on our network a whole lot this season, so to get them up against Eden Prairie, that's a good test against a solid AA team that's always going to be tough. And then Andover and Stillwater ending their regular seasons against one another. That's going to be a great test for the Ponies as they get set for a very difficult Section 4 AA.
Yeah, and they go through the gauntlet this week, Brandon, with 3 games against the top 5, so they're going to be tested for sure.
They absolutely will. Let's take a look at boys' games of the week now. And we start on Tuesday night as Chan battles New Prague in a Metro West battle. Then Minnetonka Wayzata, the rematch. Skippers lost to the Trojans earlier this year. That one on Thursday night is really, really big, and that will definitely have some rankings implications. Prior Lake and Chaska, that's a section final rematch from a year ago. Both of those teams losing a ton off of their section final rosters. They'll play on Friday night. And then Saturday night, two big ones. Eden Prairie at Benilde St. Margaret's. Hill Murray at Edina, that at 8 p.m. Hill and Edina will play twice next weekend. That's the second night of their back-to-back.
Yeah, and Hill Murray and Edina have kind of made that a thing every year where they play back-to-back, home and home. So that's always fun when these two teams meet. Hill Murray, of course, is on a roll right now. And even though they're not in the top 11, they are trending that way based on the way they've been playing. Edina, of course, is as well. One game, though, I think that stands out is Minnetonka at Wayzata. That's a chance for Wayzata to turn the tide a little bit. They haven't had a win in 4 games, and to do it against the state's top team at home, that's a prime opportunity for them. And then Prior Lake, Chaska, like you mentioned, both teams not having the season they would like, but Chaska, that win against CDH this week will certainly help them feel a little bit more motivated this week. Hockey Night in Minnesota will return this week here on Kare 11 Plus and MN Hockey TV. That, of course, is our free game of the week, and we've got a good one on Tuesday night. Moorhead and East Grand Forks, AA versus Single A here, but 7:30 p.m. puck drop from East Grand Forks. Looking forward to that one. And we'll also have Hockey Night in Minnesota not too long after that on Thursday night, as we will head out to Victoria, Minnesota for Orono Holy Family. Both of those teams ranked in their respective. So again, we get that A versus AA matchup, but looking forward to that one as well. And finally, on Saturday, we will have our final girls game of the year. We actually may have one more. I shouldn't say that for sure. But 3 p.m., Hill Murray taking on Maple Grove. And Brandon, Hill Murray's been on a roll. Maple Grove has had a tough schedule. It gets tougher here against number 2 in the state.
It does, and Hill Murray might be the hottest team in the state right now in girls AA. Obviously, they have that very tough section, but they have a very tough end of the regular season as well. They'll play Holy Angels this week, and then they finish with Maple Grove on Saturday. Actually, I think they might have a game the following week as well before playoffs start. But regardless, potentially our last girls game of the week of the year, and what better way to go out? This is going to be a really quality matchup, especially the goaltenders in this game. You have Grace Zahn for Hill Murray, who's a Dartmouth commit. You have Danny Strom for Maple Grove, who is a St. Thomas commit. They're both juniors, so they're both going to be coming back next year as well. This could be a tight, low-scoring game up in Maple Grove. Be sure to also follow us on social media for up-to-date information. You can get us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at mnhockey.tv. All right, that's going to do it for our show here tonight on Inside the Bubble. Week 11, I believe, for my co-host Matt Harrington, myself, Brandon Spratt. Have a great week, everyone, as we begin the month of February.